Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Babcock, and welcome back to our second lecture in Week 4, Introduction to the Law Code of Hammurabi. And again, I want to welcome you to the second part of our fourth week of reading the Old Testament. In this mini lecture, we will briefly discuss the Law Code of Hammurabi. Our intention is to give a brief introduction to the Law Code and provide some support for your assignment comparing the biblical law codes and the Babylonian law code. Now, in the lecture, I've given some examples. However, on the script for the lecture, I actually give some additional examples that you might want to refer to as you prepare for the course or for the assignment. Hammurabi was the sixth king in a dynasty of 11 kings of Babylon. At the beginning of the second millennium, a group of Amorites migrated into Mesopotamia, integrating into the urban, social, and political culture. Early in the 19th century BC, Sumu-Abum rose to power in Babylon, creating a new Babylonian dynasty of Amorite kings. Sumu-Abum and his early heirs focused on the immediate areas surrounding Babylon, building canals, temples, defensive fortifications, and creating a strong political and military network. During this period, Babylon was surrounded by strong political and military powers, including the nations of Elam and Eshnunna to the east, Mari to the west, Larsa to the south, and the kingdom of Upper Mesopotamia to the north. However, these Babylonian kings were technologically savvy and made great inroads in both science and military art. Hammurabi reigned over the Babylonian Empire for 42 years, the longest of any kings of the dynasty, using his military and diplomatic skills to gain control over all of Mesopotamia. Like his predecessors, Hammurabi began his reign by focusing on the geographic areas around Babylon. By the 32nd year of his reign, Hammurabi seized control over all of Mesopotamia, consolidating power in Babylon. During the final 10 years of his reign, Hammurabi again focused on domestic issues, and it is in these years that the law code was developed. The best preserved and longest of the surviving examples of the Law Code of Hammurabi dates to around 1760 or 1750 BC, containing 282 laws covering a wide range of social areas, including false testimony, degrees of murder, lesser forms of injury, property damage, marriage, theft, robbery, kidnapping, and commerce. The text, written on an 8-foot-high stela, originally stood in Babylon and was later moved to Susa after a raid by the Elamites. The law code was not the first to be developed, as the law code of Lipit Ishtar and other examples date to the 3rd millennium, 2100-ish BC. Although not the earliest, the Code of Hammurabi is significantly longer and better written than prior law codes. In addition, over 50 copies of the code have been unearthed, suggesting the code was important to Babylonian culture and the Babylonian social tradition. The code segregated legal remedies by the social class of the individual. 3 social classes of people are identified, including the Awilu, freemen, landowners, and nobles, Mushkenu, middle class, free but likely tenant farmers, and Wardu, who were the slaves. Women and children are especially protected in the laws, often equating to the rights of freemen. Some economic pieces were fixed, and commerce transactions often included a warranty. The code is comprised of customary laws, apodictic, royal edicts, and past court cases, casuistic or caustic laws. In addition, the code contained both a prologue and an epilogue. The prologue includes sections supporting Marduk as the head of the pantheon and the justification for Hammurabi to rule as king. The epilogue includes a summation statement describing how Hammurabi fulfilled his duties, blessings, and curses. The code was designed to show the gods that the king was performing his duty to uphold justice, and it is not clear that the laws were ever used to decide a legal case. The Law Code of Hammurabi and the legal code in the Bible exhibit several points of similarity. Both codes are written in the third person, and both are based in caustic law. A legal code based in legal precedent using the language if a person, then the offense, then the judgment. In addition, the two codes cover many of the same classes of offense with similar judgments. A few of the similarities are demonstrated in the table below or here on your video, and we will only review a couple of those examples. If you look at Exodus 21 verse 15, it reads about parental abuse. He who strikes his father or his mother will surely be put to death. Law 195 in the Hammurabi Law Code reads, if a child should strike his father, they shall cut off his hand. In both cases, the law code impacts the parent and parental abuse. If a child exhibits abuse against the parent, there is some form of penalty. Similarly, looking at Exodus 21 verses 24 to 25, we have what is commonly known as the lex talionis. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, hand for a hand, foot for a foot. In the Hammurabi Law Code, in Law Codes 196 and 197, if a free man should blind the eye of another free man, then they shall blind his eye. Other examples can be found in Exodus 21:16 that says, he who kidnaps a man, whether he sells him or is found in his possession, shall surely be put to death. The Hammurabi Law Code 14 reads, if a man should kidnap the young child of another man, he shall be killed. Similarly, in Exodus 20, verse 16, and we can also find this in Deuteronomy, if a man gives his neighbor a donkey, an ox, a sheep, or any animal to keep for him, and it dies or is hurt or is driven away while no one is looking, an oath before the Lord shall be made by the two of them that he has not laid hands on his neighbor's property, and its owner shall accept it, and he shall not make restitution. A similar law is found in Hammurabi Law Code 249. If a man rents an ox, and a god strikes it down dead, the man who has rented the ox shall swear an oath by the god and shall be released. A key difference between the Code of Hammurabi and the Bible is the source and authority of the law. The king is the source and authority of the Law Code of Hammurabi. In Israel, God is the source and author of the law. The difference in source meant that violations of the law did not simply affect human relationships, but were sins before God affecting the relationship between mankind and Yahweh. In this way, an infraction of the law also breached the covenant relationship with God, possibly invoking divine judgment. In addition, because the laws are authored by God, the legal collection in the Bible includes religious obligations as well as social duties. Other areas of dissimilarity include purpose, benefit, and scope of the law. The purpose of the biblical law is to create a kingdom of priests in a holy nation, while the purpose of the Code of Hammurabi is to show the gods that the king was performing his duty to uphold justice. The benefit of the law in the Bible is to renew the divine image in mankind, while the Code of Hammurabi inures to the benefit of an orderly society and longevity of the king. One might also argue that the scope of the Hammurabi Law Code and the Biblical Law Code are most similar when comparing the class of freemen. All lower classes of individual either received a smaller monetary settlement or no remuneration at all. By contrast, the Bible renders a similar judgment regardless of the social class and gives special protection for the lower classes, instead of fewer protections as evident in the Hammurabi Law Code. Therefore, it is possible to argue that the law code in the Bible and the law code of Hammurabi are either similar or different. I hope this helps you on your assignment, and I look forward to reading your work. Thanks for your attention, and have a blessed day.